Hey y'all, it's your girl Symone and welcome back to my channel. If y'all can see by the title, today's another story time. Before we get into this video, y'all already know what to do. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, give your girl a thumbs up, comment down below. Don't forget to follow me on all my socials, Instagram at Vivalayoshii, TikTok and Twitter at Lifewithsymone, and follow my business page at Brishari. Dang, I wish I had the bags right here. But if you follow me on my business page and on my Instagram, then you seen we about to drop them crossbodies that y'all been asking for. Yeah. Only thing I do got right here is this that I'm gonna drop too. But y'all, the duffel bag. I'm dropping this one in black and in blue. Y'all already know I had to. If it's anybody I'm gonna plug in a story time, it's gonna be me. Yeah, cause I could afford my promo in story times. Them companies, they be acting a little bit. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Y'all, this is Sunday and this is Subbie Sunday. I ain't been doing a Subbie Sunday in so long. That's why I'm smiling so hard. Cause I'm trying not to laugh because I know y'all gonna be like, girl. But y'all, life been lifing. I've been trying to get ready for this event that's about to happen on the 27th. And before I have my event, I'm about to go out of town on Thursday. So it's like, it's just a lot of stuff. And I'm doing everything by myself because I didn't get an event planner. Because, girl, who's spending money on that? This event was expensive. But anyway, so let's get into this story. It's Subbie Sunday. So anyway, this one is titled, This Ninja Was Effing the Whole Friend Group. Yo, I want to see what happened. Hold on. What's this? Okay, so it says, hey girl, my name is Kaya, and yes, you can say all the names. I'm going to start off by saying I love you, girl. I love you too. So the boy in the story time name is Mar. Me and Mar was off and on for about 2 years before this took place. And in those 2 years, this boy done cheated and honestly just dogged me out. So the girls in this friend group was Jayla, Moni, and Mari. We were all so close, and these were really my girls. Never expected this from my day ones. I would tell them about Mar, and they had also met him on multiple occasions. So there would never been no reason for them to have dealt with him unless they were on some weird shit. So let's get into how I noticed the sign. So before all of this, I would hang out with Mar and his 3 homeboys and the girls all the time. All of a sudden, when Mar didn't want to hang out, and so did the girls, noted weird. I had all of their location and would notice that it would be all at the same place. At first, I didn't ask Mar because you know how ninjas is. So I asked my girls, never thinking nothing of it. Really though, because these are my bitches. So I asked them in a group chat and I was like, y'all, I noticed that y'all and Mar locations at the same place. What's that about? Jayla and Moni didn't reply, but Mari did, and she was like, girl, nobody with Mar. We meaning Jayla and Moni. Just went out. I was like, okay, didn't even press because I didn't have proof they was together. Ever since then, I have been peeping their location being at the same place more than once, and I kept asking and they was making me seem crazy. At this point, it's been 3 to 4 months with this weird sneaky shit. So one day I was hanging out with Moni and I asked to see her phone to text Mara because he had blocked me from his number and it was saved in her phone as the tongue out in the airplane. So I was like, bitch, stop playing with me. At this point, I was hurt and mad at the same time. So I'm looking through the messages and they sending news and all this shit talking about me and everything. And I'm like, bitch, you really about to get your ass beat. I broke her phone and just took off on her beating her ass. I kicked her out and I called Mari and Jayla and told them what happened. They both got quiet. So at this point, I knew their ass was fucking with him. So I hung up, plotting on how I'm gonna do these hoes. So I called Mar and told him to come see me. I miss him. And he was like, okay. So he was on the way. I put a bat at the door and brass knuckles on my hand. I was about to beat this ninja ass. He come in the house and I took off on him, beating the shit out of him because why the fuck are you cheating on me with my friends? I was so fucking hurt. I cut him and Moni off, but I didn't stop being friends with Jayla and Mari because I wanted to catch them too with this dog ass nigga. 2 months later and I see their location and Mari and Jayla and Mar was at a hotel. So I pull up and I asked the front desk for the room number and went up there with my stuff in my bag, ready to beat a bitch up. I go in, why they all having a 3-way just going in? Why the fuck I started crying and started beating everybody the fuck up? They was like, it's not what you think, it's not what you think. Like, bitch, be for real. So now people was coming out their room and was calling the cops. So I left and Mar was blowing on my phone and so was Jayla and Mari. So I blocked everybody and just wanted me to be alone. And 2 months later, I was back with Mar, dumb. He cheated like 6 months later and I left him for good. Never spoke to the girls again. Sorry if this was kind of long. I love you, girl. I love you too, girl. Hold up. They was at a janky room for them to just be letting you pull up and giving you a key. That's crazy. Like, that's so weird because even as them, like, for one, why do you want to mess with your homegirl, man? 2, why do y'all all want to be messing with the same dude? That is weird as hell. Like, that's very weird. But I'm happy you did cut them off. And I'm happy you did finally move forward from him because he's weird and clearly gonna do whatever. Like, this man would play you and try you with anybody. So if he even try to spin the block and say, oh, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm this, I'm that, or I need a girl, do not spin the block because he gonna play you with anybody. Yeah. So but that's crazy as hell. That's so weird. But Girl, I would have pulled up the first time I seen their locations the same, because why y'all don't want to hang out with me no more, but I see y'all at the same location with my man? It don't make no sense, because especially a specific location, like I could see if just so happened, like if y'all had like a school party or something like that. Well, I don't know, did you say what grade you was in? But I was gonna say, I could see if you said like y'all had a school party and just so happened they at the same party, but I still would have been like, okay, one too many parties, bitch, what's going on? But thank you so much for sharing. Let's get into story number 2. Okay, so we got story number 2 right here. So it's titled, My Baby Dad Blanked the Club Up. He unalive now. Let's see what this is going for. Hey girl, I've been contemplating on sending my story for a while now, but my friend Kay finally convinced me, and I got a story or 10 to tell. I feel a little bit more comfortable telling my experiences because he passed away and can't nobody do nothing to me about what happened now. I'm healing from my experiences, so I can joke about it now, but I promise none of this shit was funny at the time or even a year after. Everyone's name in the story will be changed so you can read them as well. This story took place in 2020 Halloween night. Baby, scariest Halloween I've ever experienced. Quick backstory, at the time we've been officially together for almost a year, but been dealing / knowing each other for a little over a year, going on almost 2 years, and I was 4 months pregnant. We'll call my man Steve. Steve came to pick me up from work like usual, but right after we decided to go to the Bates Motel. That was a cool little scary time, but I couldn't be prepared enough for what came after. Steve got invited to a Halloween party, and he tried so hard to drop me off at home so he could go alone with his cheating ass, but I kept my ass planted right in the passenger seat. Ninja, you gonna take me the fuck out to this party? So we get to the lounge that was rented out by all his fake ass, op ass, crackhead, grimy friends that he loves so bad. Everyone was having a ball. I sat at this little table alone, cause one thing about me, I'm gonna scope the scenery out. Plus I really didn't like these people at all, so I wasn't much into talking with them. Long story short, majority of the people left and it was just us, maybe 4 of the friends and a group of guys who weren't with us at all. We'll name the group of guys outsiders, cause I really don't know who they were. There was a bartender who we'll call Jennifer that I see Steve talking and flirting with. He was so tore up out of his mind. I just knew that it had to be something more than just alcohol. I think he was playing with his nose, cause that's what all his friends had did. He's so far gone that he didn't even care that I'm right there. He's playing cards with the girl and just doing the most. She was calling my man Papa and all of that. My maturity was on 1,000, but it was so much about the relationship, I was just over that mentally. I couldn't even do anything besides the fact that I was pregnant. We ended up walking to the bathroom. He ended up calling for me to come inside. Mind you, this is a public man's bathroom. So one of the outsiders had walked in while I was in there, and he said, "You good, little mama?" while Steve was ranting to me about how he never had friends and everyone hated on him just talking, girl. But once he heard the outsider talk, he said, "Hey, who the fuck is that?" He must have came out the stall so fast and kept saying, "What the fuck you on, bro?" And the outsider kept saying, "We good, bro, relax." He's saying this all while chuckling because he see my man is tore up real bad. So after that man started going crazy in the bathroom, just yelling, swinging, saying he gonna pop someone, all this stuff after outsider left the bathroom. Jennifer ended up walking in and tried to calm him down. But at this point, I was just scared because I've never seen him like this. Girl, he started pulling his glizzy out and not his and not his thing, but that blicky. He cocking it back and shit, holding it up towards me, trying to, you know, pop it on me in the bathroom. I'm telling him, like, what the fuck is wrong with you? It's just me. He pushes me out the way saying, "Where the fuck them ninjas go? Y'all want to play? Let's play." Girl, he started letting them shots off and all I could do was stand there shocked. I ran over to him after he put it down and I tried to take it from him, but he started punching the wall and putting on the little wall lights in the hallway. The owner and the other bartender came over there telling him that he had to go, and the 4 friends that stayed behind tried to get the blicky from him as well. But instead, he ended up picking up one of those shells and putting it in his pocket for whatever dumbass reason. Next thing you know, we hear the cops come, so we running outside. I'm thinking this is so damn dumb, but at the same time, I'm thinking, okay, maybe I could get his ass to the car before the cops get into the parking lot and I'll drive off. We running down the steps, and mind you, Steve is still very much intoxicated, so he ended up falling down the first flight, which I ain't care. I let his ass fall because, baby, wake the fuck up and sober up from this fall. Didn't work. We get outside and the cops is pulling in the parking lot, but they still have to drive over to where we was at. He go over towards his car and I'm telling him to get the fuck in the car. Girl, why his dumbass done ran away from me and ran directly into the cop cars after he tripped and fell in slow motion. Just dumb. Next thing I know, he in handcuffs because the owners was yelling over the balcony, "That's him, that's him." All hype and ugly just ratted my man out. Jennifer standing next to me saying, "We don't know anything, we didn't see anything." I'm just looking at her like, bitch, get away from me before I do something to you. So they put my man in a cop car and he in the backseat spazzing. Bro, like bad, just going off, but like a literal crazy person. Like 302 him, I'm scared. He speaks another language, so he started speaking and cursing the cops out. And they started asking me questions like, how do I know him and does he usually drink like this? And stuff like that. But not what happened. Mind you, when he got arrested, still had his watch on. The only thing missing was his sneakers after he tripped and fell. Keep that in mind. I ended up taking his work phone from him because, baby, we ain't about to get locked up behind these packs. If you know, you know. They said they was taking him to the hospital, give him some fluids. After that, girl, all them people was gone. And when I looked around, it was just me getting questions by the cops. 4 a.m. having to pee real bad, making up a lie just on the spot, shaking in my boots. They ended up taking me down to the police station for a statement, which I only agreed to do because I was going to tell them how it was the outsiders that was in there doing the popping, not my man. And that's why they was the ones to pull off and leave fast. They was who they needed to locate and question. Girl, I played the fuck out of that role. I almost believed in my damn self. That's how you make a good lie. You gotta believe it. Anyways, they asked me if he wasn't the one, you know, popping a thing. How and why did the shell end up in his pocket? I said to them, like I said to y'all need to find them ninjas. They framing him because he was easy to frame because he was tore up and he didn't know what was going on at all. After that, I called one of his crackhead friends to pick me up and I went back to his mama house. Girl, once she saw me coming to the house without him, she instantly panicked. But all day I played like he was just sleeping at his friend's house, which was normal, so she wasn't too worried about it. But she knew something was wrong, mother's intuition. The next day I had work at 4, which was a Sunday, and I had to call out knowing that they never had coverage and I was probably gonna get fired. But at this point, my man had enough coin to retire me early, so I didn't care. Steve called me, asking me what happened and why he was in the hospital. And I knew he was being watched by the cops because he said it was one in his room with him and he was handcuffed to the bed. I still had to watch what I said on the phone, and I went with the same lie I told the cops. And he didn't pick up on the fact that I was lying, and he was really the one blanking. Just crazy. The next question to me was, where's my watch? Girl, when I heard that, I just knew something was off. Baby, why the cops stole my man Rolex? And that was his first one. I told him I don't know, and he had it on him when he left. He later called me from the jail and told me that his bail was $30K. That was the 10%. And thank God for having to only pay 10%. Because where the fuck was I getting $30K from? Shit, I didn't even know where I was getting the 30 from. But baby, I got it. That evening / night, this mom was just blowing me up about how she knew something was wrong because she ain't heard from him all day. I kept telling her that he's fine. He's probably just sleeping. I contacted some of his crackhead friends and told him the situation. Asked them if they had any money to put up. I got a couple thousand for maybe 3 of them, but I still needed more. Girl, why I started selling his packs that same day since I had his work phone. Me and my homegirl, LOL. We got the 30K, and instead of putting all the cash into one big bag, I had multiple bags full of cash with my dumb ass walking into the courthouse 7 p.m. with 10 bags small and large with 30K. Girl, if I knew he was gonna ruin my life the way he did, I would have took that money and got the hell on with my life. Anyways, I paid the bill, signed off on everything, and got him out and took him straight home so his mom could stop panicking. And that was the end of that. He later got a court date for the whole thing months later, which they subpoenaed me, and I called them and said that I was drunk that night. I don't remember anything, so my testimony wouldn't be liable. Because ever to rat on my man, Steve called the owners and offered them $10K to say they no longer wanted to take him to court. The case ended up getting dropped because his ops at the time brought the building, and it's now a poppin' ass club that I done went to twice after he passed. Not me partying with the ops, psych, they ended up on good terms before he passed, so it's cool. Plus, I don't think they even know who I am just from looking at me. That's the end of the story. I have plenty more. This was 4 years of a movie I lived with this man, and it was truly one for the books. I have a lot of stories. The time we were popping on his block, the time we got robbed, the time we got robbed at home and I was there alone, the time he tried to unalive me. This was on several occasions, so I have a couple of these stories. All of the times he was cheating on me, the time he hit me in front of his parents in Vegas. I should have called you to jump him, girl. Bye. Girl, so much. And now I gotta tell you the final breakup story. Anyways, I love your channel and I hope you reach back out so I could tell you my other stories. I love you, cuzzy. Girl, tell me the rest. I want more. That's so crazy how that ended up happening. This is really like one of them urban books, girl, because the fact that you made a way and you went and got that money that day, crazy. Because I would have been on the phone like, yeah, babe, I don't know what's gonna go on right now. I'm just kidding. It depends on who the babe was, but that's crazy, girl. We want the rest of the stories because, baby, he was out here wilding. And yeah, because not him tripping out in the club, girl. But yeah, anyway, I'm sorry. I want more stories. Thank you so much for sharing. All right, you guys, so let's get into this story. This one is titled, I Got Robbed, They Kicked the Door In. Ooh, let's see what they're saying. Hi, Symone. This is the 3rd story I've submitted to your channel. You haven't read them yet, but it's like your channel is my diary, so I'm going to keep submitting. Well, I'm happy I'm reading one now. It's a stress reliever, and I'm glad you give your subscribers the opportunity. I would like to stay anonymous, so you could call me Jenny. Let's get straight into the story. So I've been dating this guy. We'll call him Trauma. At this time in the story, Trauma and I had been knowing each other for about 3 years and had been dating for a little over a year. When our relationship started, I moved back from the Karen side of town to the more hood side of town. Trauma was the local tree man and was well known in the area. I knew nothing about his kind of lifestyle, but he put me onto game real quick. When I initially moved to his side, it was my mother and I staying there. Something happened with my dad and he needed to come live with us until he got himself together. Before my dad could leave, my mom ended up moving out. And since my dad was more laid back, he allowed Trauma to move in with us. This caused our house to turn into a low-key trap spot. I say low-key because in the day we would have traffic coming through and a porch full of ninjas, but when my dad got off, everything would be cleared out. The guys who hung out outside with Trauma was also tree men as well too. So you could imagine if they attracted a lot of attention, it was not a good thing. Time goes by and Trauma ended up getting locked up. I had a pretty good relationship with his friends, so my dumbass linked with them and picked up on Trauma's job picked up on Trauma's job and became the local tree lady. It wasn't simple though. Trauma had old school plug and he wasn't interested in doing business with me at first. He eventually let me purchase a 4-way and boom, business back booming. A little over a month passes and Trauma back home. Shortly after his return home, he links back up with his plug who stays like 30 minutes away on the Karen side of town. A particular night that he went over there, he took my car, so his car was parked in front of the yard. Around this time, I was a heavy tree smoker. I had faced one and was in bed about 8 p.m., which was close to the time Trauma had left the house. My dad was also on the Karen side of town with one of my uncles watching a football game, so I was home alone. I woke up around 9:30 p.m. and realized that Trauma still had not came back to the house. I called him and he didn't answer. I called my best friend at the time, we'll call her Snitch. Snitch lived near the plug. Snitch was dating Trauma's cousin, so I called her because I figured that he had stopped by there. She put Trauma on the phone and I told him to bring my car back and told him that if he wanted to hang out and leave me by myself, he could come get his own car. So he said he'll be back home soon. Mind you, he's 25 to 30 minutes away. After talking to him, I laid back down and started scrolling on my phone, lurking on social media or whatever. I had my strap under my pillow. I'm just chilling until he gets there. About 5 minutes had gone by since Trauma and I had talked. I had heard chattering on my porch and my first thoughts were, I know he's not back already and he didn't mention anyone stopping by us. So immediately I put the strap under my pillow, got on the floor besides and put my hands in the air. I put my head down and I started praying. My heart was pounding. I looked up and girl had an AK sitting in my face, damn near touching my forehead. It was not the fucking police. It was 3 ninjas. One which was not masked up, so I could see how nervous he looked, which made me nervous. So they started demanding me to give them whatever product I had in the house, which wasn't much because remember, Trauma was going to link with the plug to get more. I had a few zips to give them and they were yelling at me like, bitch, this is it, this is it. Where that ninja at? Call him. Mind you, they was walking through the house with a big strap to the back of my head, making me search my own house to prove that there's no more tree. Keep this in mind, I just woke up, so all I had on was a t-shirt, no panties. I'm scared, but I'm trying to think quick. So Trauma had his old flip phone he used to use before he got locked up. But they didn't know that. So I said he just got out and his phone still cut off and pointed him to the flip phone sitting in the chair in my room. Throughout the process of I'm begging for my life, dude with no mask on was looking so paranoid. And you know, scared people pop people. And at this point, we're back in my room. And I'm like, that's all I have. They snatched everything off the bed and found the strap and then took my phone and told me to lay on the floor. I thought they were about to R-word me and unalive me. So I'm looking the guy with the AK dead in the eyes. He was masked up, but he had very distinctive dreads and demonized eyes. I begged him not to unalive me. He finally told the other 2 guys, let's go, and they ran out the door. But then Mr. AK runs back in. That moment, I knew I was done. He reaches under the bed and he grabbed the Christmas J's from under the bed. This was the year 2014 and he left. I broke down bad, but I had to pull it together. There was this popular food spot across the yard from my house. I was so scared to run out because when they left, I didn't hear a car. So all I knew, they were sitting behind the house waiting for Trauma. I took a chance running because since they took my phone, I needed to get a new phone to warn Trauma of what happened. Because remember, he was on the way home. I literally took off running full speed, heart racing, t-shirt, no panties, no pants, no shoes, trying to catch this food place before they closed. I busted in asking to use their phone and explaining what had happened. They ended up telling me that the guys parked in a parking lot. And I put 2 and 2 together, like they parked here and walked to my house and had 2 female drivers according to the workers. I called Trauma and explained everything that happened to him. It didn't take him long to get to me because he was already on the way. I figured out a storyline to keep Trauma out of it before calling the police. And Trauma ducked off in the neighborhood before the police got there. His mother came to be with me during this process and also my dad and uncle ended up pulling up. All my dad heard was that there was a glizzy to my head and he was tipsy, so he bucking up on the police like, who did it, LOL. May my dad rest in peace. Oh, rest in peace to your dad. Trauma and I broke up after this but was still effing around. A whole different story for a whole nother day, LOL. But yeah, this experience was so traumatizing. Some say they would have did this or that, but mind you, I didn't pop because they said they were the law. I did end up getting a nickname for Mr. AK, but I had no social media. I let it go as far as trying to put a face to him. Fast forward from 2014 to 2020, I'm on my lunch with my coworker and we go to a nearby car wash to clean her car because we had smoke. We pull up next to this guy who was cleaning his car, but I really didn't pay him any attention. We're both walking up to the trash can and we locked eyes. It spooked me because it was those demonizing eyes. This man drops his trash on the ground, hops in the cars and speed off. It's still not clicking to me. So we finish her car and her coworker is like, I'm surprised oh boy didn't try to talk to you because he's a hoe. She's like, I'm blow, you don't know him. And I'm like, what's his name? And she says the name that I was given for the guy who robbed me. I'm running her the tea about what happened to me and I'm like, that can't be him because his dreads were much longer. But no, turns out oh boy, Mr. AK went to a prison for a robbery after he robbed me and he had to start his locks over. It was him. And it made sense to why he left when we locked eyes. This was happening so fast we could have caught up to him in traffic. I wanted to bust my fire at him so bad, but God didn't let everything click to me until after dude pulled off for a reason. What would you have done? I know this story is long, but I hope you enjoyed it because it's hard for me mentally going back to those moments. I love you a lot. Oh my God, that is so scary. I'm so happy. One thing I'm about to say is though, I'm so happy that you got out of that situation with, with trauma, because it's like no telling what else would have happened. Like he had you in a worse situation. Like I'm pretty sure, especially when it come down to stuff like that, like some people do sneak you and you don't see it coming. But even when you're a hood dude, you hear certain shit on the streets. Like you hear movement or you hear about certain shit like that. Some people just be on some nah, ain't finna, you know. But it's like the fact that he put you in that situation knowing you living here at her mama house with her dad and your girl, and you put y'all in a situation is crazy. Like you knew what type of lifestyle he knew what type of lifestyle he was living and stuff like that. He should have never left you alone. It's just crazy. But I'm so happy you got out of that situation safe. And girl, that is so scary. And then to see him, and I know all that trauma and memory just came back. And I know it's so hard because it's like, imagine that happened to you and you try to go to sleep. You're not even gonna be able to sleep at home comfortably. It's gonna be so much trauma. Like, oh my God, thank you for sharing that story, because I know it's probably so hard for you to even type this, girl. Like, thank you for sharing though. That was crazy. That was so crazy. Since I missed 2 weekends in a row, this is not supposed to be an hour-long video, but I'm gonna do 4 stories. So let's see. This one is titled "That Hood D Made Me Crazy and Landed Me in Jail." Girl, this is from 2022. By the way, I think except for the first 2, all of them was old. But let's get into it. So it says, "Hey Symone girl, I love watching your videos and hearing your Subbie Sundays. After yesterday's wild Subbie Sunday, I had to chime in and give a story of my own. I hope you're still watching." Okay, so it says, "In the summer of 2018, I was headed to my best friend's house and I was in the projects. I always walk fast to her door because I got tired of the same bum-ass ninjas trying to get my attention with 'Damn shorty, what's your name?' or 'Hey, you got a man?' I noticed a group of ninjas I never saw before. We're gonna give him name Javante. He was looking at me and I was looking at him. And I asked my best friend about him and she told me his name was Javante. He banged and he usually be around at night politicking with the other ninjas from his set. They say the good girls love them thugs and they aren't lying, LOL. As we were headed back to my car, Javante made his way up to me and introduced himself. He asked me for my number and I gave it to him. We were texting almost every day and we would see each other whenever I was free. After 6 months, we started to date and we moving fast. I moved into his spot after a year of dating him. One day I was at work and I left early because it was slow. I was surprised to see Javante cart the spot since usually he'd be at his hood at this time. I was excited and definitely wanted to surprise him with some good, as you know, good fucking for being home all day. And I got to the door and it was unlocked. When I walked in the house, it smelled funny. Javante had a townhouse and our bedroom was upstairs, far from the front door entrance. I figured he probably was sleeping and left some food out that he was making, and that was the smell. I was about to go upstairs and I could hear a woman moaning. I thought I was tripping and stayed silent for another second to make sure my ears weren't playing tricks on me. I heard the moaning again and instantly went into the kitchen and grabbed a sharp thing. I made my way upstairs quietly and peeked through the semi-cracked door and saw red. When I saw this ninja had her in my favorite position, her feet to her head while he was trashing her shit. I instantly busted the door and I charged at that ninja. And I felt the knife go inside his back and I was cussing him out and the girl was rushing to put her clothes on. Javante was cussing me out and I didn't care. That ninja had me fucked up and had the nerve to be giving my D away. Girl, it's crazy because I got a story kind of something like this that I was about to do, but I was gonna record. Okay, I think fucking not. After 5 minutes, I hear banging on the door saying, police, open up. And everything happened so fast. I wasn't thinking. I went to the door and opened it, and there were 10 police at my door. And immediately, the police told me to show my hands and step out of the house, and if anyone was in the house. I told my boyfriend wasn't. Half of them went upstairs, and one of the police officers was talking to me and asked me to turn around, and I didn't. He handcuffed me. I was so lost and asked, why the fuck was I being handcuffed? He gave me my rights and told me that they received a call that a woman, you know, a man, and I already knew it was the bitch my ninja was having relations with. Girl, you making this so hard. That made the call. I tried to lie and explain that it was an accident, and my boyfriend told them that I didn't blank him, but they weren't buying that shit and took me in. Girl, would you use a butter knife? Because how do you, or where was it? Okay, let me finish. It took me in and had me with a group of people holding in a holding tank while I was getting processed in. I asked the guard, how long would I be here and when can I post bail? She said, for the crime you did, it depends on the judge because your crime is a felony. I said, excuse me, my crime is a what? She said, you're being charged with assault with a blank weapon and it is classified as a felony. I was so pissed, as if my night couldn't get any worse. I had to spend the night in that dirty ass holding tank with 7 other females, and though they made the time go by fast in there with their funny stories, I was ready to be released. I only had called my parents and my sister to tell them what happened. I was in jail and I didn't want to speak to Javante. For all I care, he could kiss my ass. My sister was able to post bail and I was released after 4 hours and was expected to make my court date later that week. I told my sister what happened and asked her to take me to his house to get some of my clothes and if I could stay at her house for a while. When we got there, I unlocked the door, and to my surprise, that ninja and that bitch was in the living room. As much as I wanted to F both of them up, they weren't even worth it. He had the nerve to say, baby, it's not what it looked like. How the fuck is it not? You hugged up with that bitch that called the police on me. Your dumb ass ain't bailed me out or nothing. Was not even worried about me. I left and went to my sister's, and he kept calling my phone, but I didn't care. And I was gonna do me, and that's exactly what I did. I hit one of his homeboys that had been feeling me for a while, and F'd him the next night and recorded us and sent it to Javante. When I say Javante was sick to his stomach and wanted to play victim, but I didn't give a fuck. And guess what? Both of our dumbass found ourselves getting back together 2 weeks later after having makeup blank, shaking my head, laughing my ass off. But that's my man. But that's my man, and I'm gonna stick beside him. And that good ass D, laughing my ass off. To this day, we are still together, and that D is all mine. I wish the fuck he would try some shit like that. And you gonna see me on the news like that one lady that cut her man thing off and threw it out the window on the freeway, laughing my ass off. Also, I was able to get my charge reduced down to a misdemeanor because your girl ain't never been in trouble before and was on good behavior, but had asked to take some anger management classes, shaking my head. Girl, you say y'all still to what to this day? Girl, y'all still what? The fact that y'all are still together is crazy as hell. Y'all is just toxic. But hopefully, because this was way back when, so hopefully you guys are like better and not so much in a toxic environment now, because girl, ain't no man worth your motherfucking freedom. I'ma just say that. It's millions of men in this world. Somebody else know how to do it right too. Ain't no man worth your freedom, sis. But hopefully, yeah, y'all passed it and y'all ain't doing that crazy shit no more. But thank you so much for sharing. This still was a good read though. But thank you so much for sharing. I love you guys so much. That's the end for this Subbie Sunday. I told y'all I'm for sure gonna get y'all next week Sunday, because today is actually Saturday, basically about to be Sunday that I'm about to post this, but tomorrow, Sunday, I'm recording next week Sunday. And maybe the next week Sunday. I'm about to pre-record for y'all so motherfucking good that y'all ain't gonna know that I've been missing. I am back, okay? Take me off that motherfucking milk carton. Your girl is back. Okay, that's it though. I love you guys so much and I'll see y'all in my next video. Peace out.